and we're back. So this is the emergency bag. I said that goes everywhere with Christina. So the nurse rolls this in. There's a handle right here. Oops, stuck. Oh, how'd that happen? The nurse rolls this in every morning with her and then places it in the classroom. It can stay just in the classroom, but it has to be, within reach of Christina, just in case something happens. So I'm gonna put this bag on the ground, but I'm gonna take the equipment out and show you. So in that emergency scenario we were going through, say her internal CO2 is above 55 or her O2 is below 92, and we check the pacers, everything looks good. She's on her active rate, the most breaths she can get, which is 30 breaths per minute. We've done a trait change, we've done a section, we've done everything that we know. If she's been exercising, we've given her a break, but if she's still remaining high on her CO2 or low on her O2, we have to put her on the ventilator. And so in the emergency bag, I have an oxygen tank. I assume that most nurses know how to use it, but we've got the key right here, and you just turn the unit on, and then you adjust it to the liter flow that you want. Usually she's on half a liter, but she can go up to 2 liters per minute, are her standard orders. And yeah, so that's that. I have the oxygen tubing built into the circuit, so you would just plug the end of the tubing from the circuit onto the port here on the oxygen tank. So that's that. And then inside the bag, we've got her ventilator. She uses the Trilogy Evo ventilator. So we've got this ready to go. And then additionally, I have her ventilator circuit already built and ready to use in the event of an emergency. So you would just take the circuit out of the bag. You have the filter right here. It plugs in right here, the side on the unit. And so if there was an emergency, we go ahead and turn the ventilator on right here. I think you can see it. Okay, let me get this ready to go. All of her settings are already plugged in. But if she has to go on the ventilator, obviously she has to be off of her pacers. Okay, hey Tina, listen. I'm just gonna turn off your pacers for a second and put you on the vent, but you're not sick, and you'll go right back on your pacers as soon as I'm done. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Usually when she's on the vent, when she's awake, she is sick, so she doesn't like going on the ventilator because that means something's wrong. Okay, so again, you have to unlock the pacer box, turn off the right side, turn off the left side, start ventilation on the unit. Tina, take some breaths. So when she's not getting ventilation support from the pacers or the vent, as mentioned again, she does not breathe on her own without cueing. That's not an automatic function for her. All right, here, baby girl. So you just take off her trachea speaking valve and then attach the vent circuit right here. Let me put this through your arm. Okay, so now she is breathing on her ventilator. And I'm gonna go ahead and check the settings. So if you go over here to settings, which right now she's on a pressure control of 14, which is her sick pressure control. Typically she's on a pressure control of 12. You can set the breath rate. Right here she's set at a breath rate of 24, which is her sick breath rate. Typically she's on 20 or 16.
I need my sick breath.
I know, honey, just because this is, the vent is set up for whenever you are sick, you go on it and then you get better, okay? This isn't your normal ventilator we have in the bedroom.
But I'm not sick.
I know you're not sick. So this is the vent right here. And so on it, it gives you her tidal volumes. It tells you like how efficient of a breath she's getting. Also the respiration rate right here. And so when she's on the ventilator, we are able to adjust her breath rate based on her end-tidal CO2. So the same thing, we want her between 30 and 45. If she's below 25 or above 55, that is out of range and not good. But basically, say she was at a CO2 of 55. That's meaning she's not creating enough breaths, she's not getting good gas exchange, so she needs more support. So you go into the ventilator settings, go into the breath rate, and then you would turn up her breath rate right here accordingly. If she was on the ventilator, but her CO2 was too low, that means she's getting too much support. And so you can just silence it, honey. It means she's getting too much support, and so you would toggle down on her breath rate, turn it down. That's that. So and here's the home screen, but it's a touch screen ventilator. It's adjusting the breath rate though is something that we have strict doctor's orders for to follow our ventilator ladder. Typically, if a kiddo's on the ventilator, they are not the nurses are not able to make adjustments. You have to do that inpatient in a hospital. But because Christina has no control of breathing, she needs ventilatory support is different throughout the day and throughout illness. And so that's why we did the ability to change it as such. So this is a ventilator that would only happen in school in case of an emergency. I'd be called and I'd come pick up Christina and we'd go home and figure out what was going on. So I'm gonna take her off the vent right now. And then lastly, I'm gonna show you her ambu bag because that's the last step, or just in case she loses consciousness. That's something that you need to know how to do because she has a trach, so CPR is different for her. So Tina, I'm gonna turn your pacers back on. Are you ready? So just in order to make it easier, I go ahead and unlock the unit. And then I take her circuit off, ready? Speaking valve back on.
Yay!
Yay! And then turn on her pacers. Right side, left side. Lock the unit. Physically feel, make sure they're both working. Yes, everything is working. So pacers are back on, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the ventilator. And get this out of here for the last part of the demonstration, which would be her ambu bag. Okay. All right, so like I said, if she loses consciousness, or she used to have breath holding spells when she was little where she would resist even the pacers or the ventilator giving her breaths and she would just pass out and turn blue. It was a very scary event, obviously, something that hasn't happened in 3 or 4 years. It's been quite some time, but something that you need to be trained on because that could happen. So hey Tina, can I have you sit up real quick? Okay, sit up and then maybe take to the side like this. Yeah, that's good like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna bag her a few times just to show you what it looks like. So I'm gonna turn off her pacers and then just give her a few breaths with the ambu bag. So unlock it, turn off the right side, turn off the left side. Okay, Tina, can you take a couple breaths? And so it has a mask that you would remove. I'm just gonna do it real quick. Good Lord. This is pretty hard to get off. Obviously we haven't used it in a while. Oh, there. Okay. And so this portion fits directly onto her trach. You're taking some breaths? Okay, good. So you would remove the speaking valve. You attach this. It's okay, hold on. You attach it to her trach like this.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared. No, listen, I'm gonna breathe for you. You don't need to breathe, okay? So you just squeeze the bag. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Does that feel funny? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the bag right there. Put the mask back on. In case her trach was occluded or something weird, it fell off or something happened, you could always occlude her trach side and actually use the mask over her nose and mouth as typical. Okay, Tina, turn your pacers back on. Take a few breaths. So again, unlocking the unit since it automatically locks, turning on the right side, turning on the left side, locking it, making sure they're both on. Yes, they are. And let me give you your speaking valve back. Ready? There you go. Okay, so that's Christina in a nutshell. Sorry if it was a little lengthy, but honestly, there's a lot more that we can get into. I just wanted to get into the main ventilatory things that could be occurring at school and that we would need someone trained in her care. Yes.
How do you spell Bob?
Hold on 1 second. Trained to be proficient in, and then, you know, per her pulmonologist, per her PCP, every doctor that has her per the CCHS statement put out by the American Thoracic Society on clinical management, she really should have a trained RN with her at all times, but we accept a trained LVN that has a lot of experience, or an RN, but she needs that level of care She is also on the medically dependent children's program. It's a waiver program through the state of Texas. And so that's what allows us to get her private duty nursing through Medicaid. So basically, to even qualify for the medically dependent children's program, your child has to have a level of care that requires hospitalization or staying in a nursing care facility. But because we want what's best for our family and Christina, that's to be home with us. And so we as her parents assume responsibility to bring her home, and therefore the state through Medicaid funds our private duty nursing because that's what's best for her. And what's best for Christina also is to remain in school. But we just have to make sure that she is doing so in a safe manner. And so it just behooves the district to provide her an RN or an LVN so that she can remain in the classroom with her friends and be afforded the same education just like all of her peers. Thank you very much.